All right, for more on the amendment of the Electoral Act 2022 and for mandatory transmission of results and alleged distortion of the new tax law, we're joined now by Adebayo Balogun. He's the Chairman, House Committee on Electoral Matters. Good to have you on Newsnight, Honorable.
Good evening.
Well, you've got your job cut out for you. Every time we have to come back to the Electoral Act to, amend, to tweak it here and there. But then again, the question is there the political will to enforce this electoral, legal framework to guide our elections? That seems to be where the challenge is. But to what extent really will this, amendment address, number one, ambiguities around deployment of technology? Because we're hearing that there will be mandatory electronic transmission of results. How mandatory will it be, indeed?
Well, actually, when it comes to the issue of transmission, what we've just done is just to, change the word transfer, which was actually used before, to transmit, which actually meant the same thing.
Right.
But sometimes, at least, you have to make people comfortable with the actual usage of the words that they are comfortable with. Transmission is what Nigeria wants, and we have actually put it there as transmission. But in operation, the problem had been, every part of Nigeria is not Abuja of Lagos. Even in Abuja and Lagos, you still have breaking transmission. Some of the time, you have live programs and the network fails or something like that. So what you must do is that once the result is ready, you must snap it and send. But it's a different thing getting there real time or delayed, because if there's no service, it will not get. But you must do it in presence of all the agents. Right. Snap and send. Once you have done that part, as the presiding officer, you have done your own. But so probably by the time you get to your headquarters, it will send, because there are some remote areas in Nigeria that you might not get service. So we have to, because the punishment now is higher.
5 years.
5 years. So, and this presiding officer are 90% youth corpers. And we also must be careful, so that, you must say that what is your role? Your role is to ensure, and people are there with at the election venue now with their cameras. People will snap you. They will see if you have actually done your part. So at least you must be able to prove that I have done my part. Then the remaining part is with the network providers. So at least that is where we are.
Okay. And lawmaker, may I ask you what has motivated this decision, particularly on mandatory transmission of results? Because as you recall, the Supreme Court had clearly said after the 2023 elections that INEC does have the discretion over how results are transmitted. So why is the House of Representatives now overriding that decision of the Supreme Court through legislative action? I just want to know what is motivating. What do you hope to achieve by forcing INEC to mandatorily, upload results? Is it because of the 2023 elections? Were you affected as politicians? What exactly is motivating this decision?
No, like I said, it's been there. It's a transfer. What people are saying that transfer does not mean transmit. So that means we don't really change anything. It's just a matrix. But perception is very important. But there's an inclusion
of mandatory.
But perception is very important. Because when you say you must transfer, yes, it has been there. But the only word we change is now transmit instead of transfer. But what we are saying is, as far as the perception is there, that, if you don't do it, that means you are hiding something. Then put it the way the people want. But what the Supreme Court has given verdict on is that the RF is not a collating center. Because what the issue of RF is about is that when you snap and you post, it goes to the RF, which is like a back end for INEC. That is not where INEC will start collating. It's not a digital thing. It's like a photocopy that you send. It's not good to start automatically adding the sum together. But as long as Nigerians are concerned, we want you to do it. But the most important part, the most important element that have changed things in Nigeria to the electoral process is the BVAS, the accreditation system.
Right.
And that's why you can easily get overvoting now. And that's what caused the heated debate that you saw. Because once you are able to ensure that accreditation is digital and is foolproof, you have solved 90% of the electoral process. Before the advent of the BVAS, people wait for interland, the rural areas, to bring in large votes, larger than the metropolitan. That means these are cooked up figures. But now, because of BVAS, those areas can no longer chunk in those large figures again. And that's what really happened in the last election when people said, oh, there was a voter apathy. No, if you really see the physical turnout, you know that people turned out more in the last election, especially the Gen Zs. But because we are used to this declaring high figures before, because there was no proper accreditation. Because you are able to take care of accreditation, you've taken care of 90% of the electoral process. So if you have been able to do any fraud, transmitting it real time or no real time wouldn't matter to the politician again. Once I'm able to increase the number, influence the number, and then now transmit whatever result we cooked up. So our BVAS is the main
It will take care of that problem.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about post-election litigation, which this amendment seeks to address. And of course, post-election litigation before now has taken away electoral power from the electorate as the final arbiter of the election, where you have the law courts declaring the winners to a very large extent. Generally, how will this new amendment or alterations impact our electoral process going forward?
Talking about the post-election litigation, most of these, as far as the litigation is concerned, the areas that affect that are actually in the electoral, constitutional review, because it's the constitution that's determining the timing of the pre-election matters and time for the election. But what we want to say, because we have to work together, both the Electoral Act and the constitutional review, we have to agree that our objective now is to ensure that we reduce the time for the litigation so that we can conclude the pre-election matters before the general election. Because we find out that most of the cases they take to the post-election are actually pre-election matters.
Right.
If you look at the presidential tribunal, litigation, it was more about qualification or some other cases. No, we are not really talking about the main election. Probably the vote was deducted here or added here. It was more about, so these issues would have been pre-election matters. So by the time we come up with the constitutional review now, you will see where these areas have been actually worked on. We want to ensure that all these litigation periods are actually reduced. But if we are able to conclude the pre-election matters before the general election, that means there will be little or nothing to do after the general election. The litigation process will now be reduced to minimum. Because look at what happened in Jos, Plateau, where pre-election matters was used to now decide the election of people who are already been sworn in into office. These are the qualification because of their primaries. So we want to ensure that that will not happen again.
Okay. All right. Honorable Lawmaker, for many Nigerians, when they look back at the controversies that surrounded the 2023 elections, which is what you're mainly trying to address here, they feel that the issue was not law. It was not the absence of law or legal mandates for INEC. It was selective enforcement or capacity of the electoral body to carry out its functions. So how, what assurances are you giving to Nigerians that beyond these alterations you've made, they will be carried out to the letter? Because you have laws, but they just remain on paper. That's the issue we have.
You see, let's be fair with the electoral body. You see, although some people said, probably, maybe INEC overpromised. Maybe they overpromised beyond what was in the papers. Because they said the INEC at that period said the transmission will be real time, and they give them the impression that like you'll be seeing like you're watching CNN where numbers are just changing. But it was never like that. That was not what the law says. So sometimes perception is very important, and we must give them the right perception, and that's why we must do a lot of voter education. Let people understand what to expect, because there was over expectation That's what caused the last problem. Not that there was a major problem, but because what people are expecting was different from what they met.
But it's interesting you say that, and I have to follow up on this, because when we saw the election results for the National Assemblies, where you come under, the results were uploaded. But on the other hand, the presidential results were not uploaded. And that was a major controversy around the election.
You see,
so it's not about over-promising and under-promising.
Now, let me tell you something.
Yes.
The elections were held simultaneously.
Yes.
Did they snap one? I didn't snap one. They snapped everything together.
But some were uploaded, some were not uploaded.
No, you see, it was actually because people were not interested about the assembly and the rep and the senate. They were interested about the national and the presidential.
Naturally.
They were president. So, like I said, you can send it and it didn't go real time because of the location. The one of Lagos will go immediately. The one of Abuja will go in immediately. You see many people that were even complaining, they have not even opened the RF to even check their own results. Many people that are complaining, I'm sure if you have tried it, have you checked your own address to even see if the result in your own unit came up or not?
I mean, for subsequent elections, it did work. But for the 2023 elections, that didn't work.
You see, this is the 2023 we're still talking about.
Yes.
I'm telling you that it worked, but people said it didn't come immediately.
Yes, it took days.
It speaks to the political will.
Few hours.
Just like it's been
But many people that were even complaining didn't even check.
Right.
Like they said.
Honorable, it speaks to the issue of political will to actually enforce what the laws say. It's one thing for you to come up with this, amazing electoral laws or constitutional laws and what have you, but the enforcement, the will part, political will to actually do the right thing. Besides, how will all of this strengthen INEC's powers? Because many are saying, look, break up INEC so that it's more efficient. How do you, strengthen INEC more to actually do its work in, conducting the successful
I think
election?
the first thing we will do this time around, which we have already started, and
right.
you can see, even at the committee level, I've always been attending various interviews to ensure that we talk to the people and we let them understand the process. In fact, let's take what we just finished, the bills we just amended now. Even some bills that I actually held to my heart, that were so dear to me, were dropped. Even as far as, notwithstanding the fact that I'm the chairman of the committee, when you go, it's about the majority. Even the one that we're arguing about, someone brought it in and some people felt it should not pass. So sometimes it's about people ensuring that they also work back in their own constituency, talk to your members that, so bill, we are interested in it. Please support it. Because after the committee work, we bring it to the committee of whole. It is what is decided there that matters, not even what we do. So, but people don't really understand these things. They feel, you want to do, you didn't do it. It's about everybody. So right. After we finish that, now let's go on to implementation. Most of them, like I said, sometimes we don't even get to understand what the laws actually says. Right. And looking about the unbundling of INEC, yes, we are working on the on this Electoral Offences Commission bill, which will be trying electoral offenders, and also we are trying to remove some part of the voter education activities, probably put it with NOAA, National Orientation Agency, so that they're part of their own program. Some people are talking about, let's create another body for the political parties, so that issue of political party registration and party primaries will no longer be under INEC, but these are proposals under the constitutional review. Right. By the time we conclude it, we'll know if it flies or not.
A very good place to leave it. Thank you so much, Honorable Lawmaker, for being here. Honorable Adebayo Balogun is the Chairman, House Committee on Electoral Matters. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.